Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Nour in the kitchen. Eid time is almost here, which means I'm going to be making a cake and I'm going to show you how I decorate it. If you're excited about this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to be notified every time I post a new video. Because so many of you absolutely loved my Ramadan themed cake and how I decorated it, I wanted to create another cake video to show you how I decorate my Eid cake. So I really wanted it to be simple and elegant cake decoration, and for today I decided to go with frozen buttercream cutouts and a theme of white, gold and black. I'm going to incorporate a few different techniques, starting first with frozen buttercream cutouts and using some gold luster dust, edible gold and some gold and black sprinkles just to give it a little bit pop of color. The actual base of the cake is a 6-inch 4-layer chocolate cake, and it's filled with cream cheese frosting and some raspberry coulis. I absolutely love the combination of chocolate and raspberries, and the cream cheese will also give it a little bit of tart flavor, and it's all going to be covered in vanilla Swiss meringue buttercream. This all sounds super delicious, but we can't eat cake without decorating now, can we? So let's get decorating. So the first step of decorating this cake will be freezing some of my Swiss meringue buttercream on a flat sheet with some parchment paper. I'm going to apply a thick coat so that I get some nice beautiful shapes once it's frozen. You want to spread your thick coat of buttercream with an offset spatula and try to keep the same level of thickness all around. Right now I'm going to put this in the freezer for a few hours until it's firm, and then we're going to cut our little shapes. Now it's time to start assembling the cake. First of all, I'm going to put a small amount of my frosting on the cake board to prevent my cake from sliding, and I'm going to top it with my first cake layer. I'm going to make a border around the cake with my cream cheese frosting and also in the center, and then top the center with my raspberry coulis, making sure not to get any raspberry on the outside. I will then top it with my second layer of chocolate cake and keep repeating these steps until we finish all the cake layers. Now it's time to apply our first layer of frosting, which is called the crumb coat. So I'm putting a thin layer of my vanilla Swiss meringue buttercream all over the sides and on the top. One word of advice: whenever you are working with a loose kind of filling or liquid like I am using with the raspberry, you want to put a dowel in the center of your cake to prevent the cake layers from sliding. But unfortunately I was out of it and I had to do it without it. But just know that it would be a lot easier if you insert a dowel in the center of the cake. Once I'm satisfied with my first layer of frosting, I'm going to let it set in the fridge for a minimum of 20 minutes. You want it to be really nice and chilled before applying your second and final coat. Once my cake has been chilled, I'm going to apply my final coat of frosting. This is going to be a thicker coat than the one we did before, and I'm going to go all around the cake on the top and then smoothing it out with my cake smoother. I am intentionally leaving all the buttercream that has accumulated around the edges of the cake because I want to go for a rustic design. So essentially, when I'm satisfied with smoothing the sides of the cake, I'm going to place it back in the fridge for an additional 20 minutes before starting our decoration. To start decorating, I drew the shape of a hilal on a piece of parchment paper and I'm going to cut the inside of the hilal with my scissors. I am then going to place this parchment paper directly on the cake. The cake itself is nice and chilled, so it will not get damaged. And I'm going to fill in the shape of the hilal using a paintbrush and some gold luster dust. I am then going to use the same luster dust to paint a thin gold line all around the top border of my cake. Now it's time to get our frozen Swiss meringue buttercream out of the freezer and cut our shapes. For this design, I decided to go with a small star cookie cutter to go along with our Eid themed cake. And all I'm gonna do is just push my cookie cutter on the buttercream to get out some nice shapes. Remember to work quickly at this stage. The buttercream tends to melt, and if you're working in a high temperature, I recommend putting the tray back in the freezer for 10 minutes and keep going again. If your buttercream cracks, do not worry. You can keep trying different areas of your tray, and once you are done, whatever broken buttercream you have left, you can thaw it out completely and then spread it once again and refreeze it. Once you have your buttercream cutouts ready, I recommend to freeze the design for a minimum of 10 minutes just to make sure that they are nice and solid and not going to melt. Now I've taken them out of the freezer and I'm going to color them again using the same gold luster dust. Now I'm going to use some gold and black themed sprinkle to give my cake a little pop of color, and I'm going to link the exact sprinkle mix that I'm using in the description box below. Last but not least, I'm going to apply a little bit of edible gold leaf. Now my final touch to this cake will be a beautiful gold Eid themed cake topper, which just says Eid Mubarak and will be the perfect thing to pull the whole look together. So I hope this tutorial gave you some inspiration of how to decorate your own cakes. As usual, all the tools and materials that I've used will be linked in the description box below. I personally can't wait for Eid to come so that I can have a slice of this cake. What are you most excited about for Eid, and what are the traditional treats that you must have during Eid? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know everywhere around the world what are your Eid sweets traditions. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. I post a new video every single Thursday. Also, if you would like some more cake decorating ideas and inspiration, I invite you to watch my Ramadan themed cake video, which was a really big hit among you guys, and you can customize the design to fit any theme you want. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye!